Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves on the cusp of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, even courting a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust for Disney Plus. And tonight we are talking what if the world lost its mightiest heroes. Oh boy. All right, Dragon, this is a big one. Of course, episode 1 was basically like a remake of the first Avenger with some role reversals. Episode 2 was kind of like, all right, we're doing kind of like a familiar story, a familiar setting, familiar characters, but kind of like twisting it up, going to different locations. Episode 3 is something else entirely, and I love it. I love how this show has kind of like gradually gotten us into this spot. I really feel like it's been a smart move, and I look forward to seeing things get even crazier from here. Dragon, really quick, I can give your thesis, and then I'll get to the poll results.
Yeah, so I was happy with this one. I really liked how we moved from the character swap. I had nothing against the character swap. It's just, I mean, I think again we won't really know until the end of the season, but just so far in terms of like the specific choice of episodes, I'm really fascinated by just the way we've been kind of putting them out and how it's going to stack up by the end of the first season. Like, we're going to get this one and that one. It's the fact that we had two character swaps in a row. Mind you, the second one was a little bit more showcased more of the dominoes that fall differently when you change a specific character. And again, there's a couple types of what if story you can do. There's character swap, and then we have one like this. This is classic. This is a classic what if situation, which is
Uh-huh.
very much the dramatic what if flair. Like you always have the eye catching what if title, which is dramatic. Like what if this character, actually did what he did, what we thought he was going to do in the comic, or what if this character died, or what if this character didn't die. This has like very much that a classic situation to what I really liked, and you're going to roll your eyes at this. But here's what I really liked.
Oh God.
You probably don't remember this at all, knowing you.
What?
Um, yeah, they applied the Nick Fury tie-in comic. This whole episode, they pulled it.
Yeah, indeed,
Nick
indeed. I
Fury's
totally.
Big Week, the tie-in comic, which I mean, depending on who you ask, is in the movies, is not in the movies. It's
So
unclear
with,
now.
with Nick Fury's big week, that is just basically like the whole idea of like like the phase 1 stuff, the origin stuff, all kind of going down within the same few calendar days of each other,
Yeah,
right?
basically Iron Man 2 to possibly First Avenger, but it's
Uh-huh.
unclear. First Avenger is a little up in the air, but pretty much, yeah. So between Iron Man 2, Iron Man 2 and Thor, and the Incredible Hulk all happening in the same week. That's the idea there. Which again, I mean, I think Spider-Man: Homecoming gummed up the works there because I think that Nick Fury's big week works in that timeline, but nothing else does. And then when we do like the Russo movies, when we do Infinity War, we say it's been this many years, which pretty much works as we the audience have been experiencing them. Everyone comes out a year, so pretty much every year something happens. So it's the point being, it's like it's something they pulled that was very much kind of it's from the movies, but we never confirmed whether or not it happened. So we kind of took money that was on the table and we actually used it for something, which I'm really thrilled by, and I really like that story. So it was cool, and it's kind of a remnant from the early Phase One days of the MCU and kind of the marketing that was associated with it. So I really enjoyed that aspect, plus just the classic what if situation of it all, and I mean ultimately, look, I don't think it's not. I don't know if I like it as much as the T'Challa Star Lord episode. But it hit the hallmarks, and it's going big, and it's avoiding a pattern. So I really like all the stuff that we accomplished with this episode. I'm glad that we did it sooner rather than later. I like that we swung big like 3 episodes, and that's gonna, I'm sure, be a little divisive for people as we're about to find out. But yeah,
Mhm.
I liked it.
Okay. So yeah, let's get to the poll here, guys. So with the poll, Dragon, this definitely comes in at a pretty solid first place so far. It has hold on, I'm looking at last week's poll. Let me scroll up. sorry, it has 55% of the votes went to a 5 out of 5, with another strong 27% of the votes going to 4 out of 5, and only 9% of the votes going to both 3 out of 5 and 1 out of 5 respectively. So very strong showing in the poll. Easily the biggest showing yet. That puts I'm going down to the Captain Carter poll. Hold on. Yeah, so Captain Carter, I know I have to do some math, but Captain Carter and Chala kind of close to each other. I think Chala slightly edges out Captain Carter, but this is pretty definitively ahead and is the number one according to the polls.
Also,
so just a reminder, guys. Every week, I did kind of fudge it up this week. I forgot to do it at midnight. We had a slightly less time to vote. I apologize for that. I will try not to make that mistake again. But ideally, what the plan is that every night, as soon as the episode drops, I will put up a poll on the community page. All you have to do is vote a 1 through 5 on how you feel about the episode. Of course, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the best. And we're going to track exactly how you guys feel about these episodes and exactly how you rank them. And I think that's very exciting, Dragon. So,
yeah.
All right. Anyways, where do you want to start here? Oh, and of course, we'd be remiss to mention Dragon. Sadly, Dragon, our good friend Rohith was going to join us, but
got killed by Hank Pym.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so,
rather graphically too, but yeah, you got you should have seen it. Was very nightmare inducing, but yeah.
It was like right on the hangout too. It was just like he was on camera. It was just like, God, oh no, Rohith. All right,
it all went red. It's nasty.
Oh, God. No, Rohith's fine. I honestly I don't quite know what's up with him. We scheduled him, but hopefully he'll be back. Dragon and I don't really intend to do these what ifs without a guest, but we're here, so we're gonna do it.
You're stuck with us, so
Anyways, so Dragon, before we get too deep into the thick of things, let's point out some comments here. We got Honeybee and Atomic Beast both talking up a storm. All right, so Atomic Beast says the screenshot looks like the one Mass Effect 2 ending where some of your party members die. Yep. I haven't played Mass Effect, but I can totally see this being like a game over screen for sure. It kind of has the style of like a Donkey Kong Country game over screen, which those game over screens are weirdly dark. Anyways, that guy's here as well. How you doing?
Hey, that guy.
That guy says episode 2 is still my favorite, but I really enjoyed this one.
Yep.
And yeah, this episode, I think Honeybee and Atomic Beast both aren't the biggest fans of this one. They say, Atomic Beast, I never like these kind of universes, especially these characters are those that you genuinely love and care about, and now they are dead. That's a very fair point.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, also, it's like we have them on the regular. It's like the one time it's like, okay, well, they died. It's a wonder.
All right. Honeybee says, that's my point. Not really a big MCU fan, so in this case, I don't really care. Let's see. Atomic Beast says, this is from someone who read Batman.
Who Laughs and the Injustice video game series. Yeah, I've never told you about the Batman Who Laughs, have I?
I don't think you have.
Yeah, it's one of the Snyder ideas from the. This is why I really want us to keep going with the Scott Snyder Batman stuff, because then you get the heavy metal story, which is like an apocalyptic end of the world story where you get like the Batman Who Laughs, which is like the darkest version of alternate universe version of Batman ever.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, Honeybee, I was probably getting my my wires crossed with Atomic Beast comments. Yeah, you do seem to like the episode. You voted 5. So, also, Honeybee agrees with me. The Donkey Kong game over screens are terrifying, indeed, especially the ones on the Super Nintendo. It's not even that they're terrifying. It's just that they're like aggressively bleak, honestly, is how I would describe them. They're like aggressively just like sad. Anyways.
Right.
So you know what's not aggressively sad? This episode, because in spite of all the Avengers dying, it's still kind of maintained a pretty typical Marvel humor throughout. Dragon, I feel like a big part of that humor was, of course, our boy Coulson. Nice to see some Coulson fanboying.
Look, I love Coulson. I love that he's back. I got to admit, though.
Hashtag Steve. I love Steve.
All right, so that's because
You're
that's the
not
thing.
big on that?
Well, here's the thing. I love Coulson. I love that we have him back. I will never turn down some Coulson. But I mean, I think some of the humor hit, but some of the other humor, I think. Here's the thing. Clark Gregg loves to improvise, even in the record booth. It seems. So I think we just let him run a little while, and I think we just kind of thought it was funny in the moment. We kind of kept it in the episode. We maybe should have rethought it just a smidgen. Like for example, I love the idea of him. Kind of fanboying over Thor a little bit because he was buddies with Thor before Cap came back, and just the whole like his hair is gorgeous, sir. Just like the
Well, I
hair
like the
joke
exchange because it's like it's kind of just like charmingly awkward because he genuinely doesn't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, and the whole like even Hawkeye agreed. Like I love that. That's like I thought that was great, but I think maybe like the whole sniffing him when he's a dead guy like for the second time, and then the whole Steve, I heart Steve. I wish it was just like I heart Steve, not Steve. I don't know. It's a little bit much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's
Just
a
I think
little
the multiple
extreme.
Steves is like okay. I get what
Honestly, Dragon, maybe this will make you feel better about it. What I got about it, what I got out of it was like the reason why it's not just I Heart Steve is like all the multiple Steves, like he's trying to make a genuinely good password.
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean yeah, I get
You
it,
know,
but it's
because
just
I Heart Steve would be a pretty obvious password. So like all the different Steves, like hashtag Steve, I Heart Steve, like like all like the different combinations of Steves and I Heart Steves, like that. It's like at least he's trying to like at least he's trying to use internet security. And Dragon, speaking of internet security, when you want internet security, there's only one choice. And I will be happy to plug those people if they get in contact with me. All right. Okay. Uh, okay. Yeah. Internet security, guys. Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
I'm making an Express VPN joke, Dragon.
I see.
All right.
All right. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's nice. I mean, again, I was really nice to see Coulson and Fury's dynamic too, because we get to see all the people that Fury trusts, kind of in this episode, like kind of the people he can count on one hand that he can trust, with the exception of Maria Hill. We got to see pretty much all of them in place. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, circling back to the Fury, I love that we have an episode very much centered around Nick Fury. We didn't mention this. Remember, remember how I hyped you for this episode, but I didn't know what the episode was, though.
Well, basically it was just kind of like Black Widow kills Tony Stark, and that's really all we knew, right?
Yeah, it was just this thing of basically the donut scene and and seeing Tony Stark on the floor after she does the lithium thing. So the implication being Black Widow kills Iron Man. I was like, oh my god, are doing like a Hydra thing? Like what happened?
Right. Yeah. We all kind of thought it was going to be like, what if Black Widow worked for Hydra?
Yeah, something or like what if Fury worked for Hydra by proxy of Black Widow, or the whole that whole thing. We did not go that direction, which I'm kind of glad because it would have been. I'm not saying that would have been interesting, but we went. This whole episode is a lot of unexpected directions, which I thought was really befits What If.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like I feel like the T'Challa episode, like very
Don't touch T'Challa, Tiki. You got it right. Don't correct that.
T'Challa.
T'Challa with the T. You got it.
T'Challa. All right.
There you go. T'Challa. All right.
I'm sorry. I feel like with that episode, like it kind of like set the groundwork. Oh, look, a wild Rohith appears. How you doing, Rohith?
I am so sorry, you guys.
You're alive.
I just
good,
time.
We're just glad that Hank Pym didn't get to you.
Oh man, no, don't worry. I didn't pop like the Hulk.
All right, so we're kind of like knee deep in the episode, but by all means, give us your thesis.
I can probably follow through with what you guys were saying just now.
Well, what's your thesis on the episode, though, Rohith?
I think the thesis on this episode is just unlike the first two episodes, what this episode really focused upon what a certain decision can do to impact one's reality, one's world. And I think the fact that just the fact that Hope just became a random agent of Shield, and her death just caused Hank to go crazy, just goes to really show kind of how lucky we are in the decisions that were made in the regular MCU, and also how thankful we are that Hank Pym hasn't gone crazy or insane.
Yeah, little did we know how on the edge Hank Pym really was.
Yeah, which it's a cool pull from the books too, where Hank Pym, many interpretations, he's kind of really he either has a really bad temper or at times that temper will then become him being a temporary supervillain.
Yeah. Okay, so Honeybee knows my ExpressVPN joke. The Avengers could have been avoided being tracked by Pym if they had used ExpressVPN.
Right.
I'm proud of the joke, Dragon. I don't care what you say. Anyway.
What's something to in regards to the episode that really kind of surprised me is that Lake Bell voiced Black Widow, and she sounds similar enough to Scarlett Johansson that I didn't even know it was Lake Bell until I found out about it, after watching the episode, and then in rewatch the episode, just clips of it, I can tell the voice. But for the most part, the people that aren't the actual actors, are close enough to, the MCU versions, which I think is a really,
I gotta tell you, I genuinely feel bad where, with some of the voice actors where it's how come you didn't get the real person? And it's guys, calm down. The voice actors that we're getting are doing a great job. It's it's disappointing that we can't get everyone, but that's a tall order. It's just respect the talent.
The good news is, Lake Bell has experience in voice. Of course, Poison Ivy on the Harley Quinn animated show. She's she's really good, so she was a good choice to fill in for Black Widow. But if we can't get Scarlett Johansson, which sadly we couldn't, but still.
Well, now we're never going.
Well, yeah, now we're never. This is
yeah.
Imagine how trippy it would have been if they actually had gotten Scarlett Johansson.
That would have been trippy.
What's it's funny that Lake Bell voices both Poison Ivy and Black Widow, both redheads.
Yeah.
No, but actually, if anything, I don't know. This may be a hot take for What If, in my opinion. I would say the regular voice actors who have actual voice acting experience, I think, do a lot better than some of the regular MCU actors. At least in my opinion, not that they're bad. Some of them I feel don't have as much experience with voice acting, and I can tell in their performances. It was a lot more in the first episode, but
Sebastian Stan being an example.
See, I'm conflicted whether that's his performance that's at fault or just the dialogue that was written.
I think it was more the dialogue, but from what I understand, when we do the Marvel Zombies, he's going to have a more active role. So I think we'll find
that's exciting.
Because all we've seen is a scene where he's going up against zombie caps. That's all we've seen, and I think it's ideally what we're going to do. And again, I have no idea until we get the episode. If I'm right, that's going to be a Spider-Man centric episode, so it might be him and Spider-Man together in that episode, working against the whole Marvel zombie apocalypse. But we'll see. I have no idea until we get it. So I think that one might be more Bucky heavy, and that's when we'll be able to maybe see how much of that's because again, some of the actors you got to remember is a thing too where. It's not exactly like casting within a Pixar film when they really strive to get the right voices, even if they are a celebrity, versus the kind of the industry battle at the moment, which is we want voice actors in the films, but people want to put butts in seats, so we get a big name. Which some of these actors do not have voice acting experience, and again, it's a double-edged sword. We want our guys in there to represent those characters, but it's their first time voice acting, so there's a bit of a learning curve, which is kind of it's kind of working against itself at times, but thankfully, actors like Michael Douglas, he's got experience in voice acting with the Green Eggs.
Michael Douglas absolutely killed it. Holy crap, that vocal performance! Honestly, I think I'm not even being hyperbolic when I say it might be Emmy worthy.
And that's the thing. Michael Douglas, of course, already just great actor, but again, he's been seasoned in voice acting with a season of the Green Eggs and Ham show. He's gotten it under his belt. He's comfortable with it. He's gotten, and Sam Jackson as well. He's done voice acting from time to time. He's gotten in there, not a whole lot, but he's done it. So he's a little.
Let's face it, right? Sam Jackson can literally perform Nick Fury in his sleep at this point.
Clark Gregg has also voiced Coulson in like the Spider-Man animated show.
Yeah, he's been the only person to play Coulson because it's him, you know.
Yeah. So like I think like as time, I wouldn't be surprised as time goes by, both the quality of the writing in terms of the plot and dialogue, and also just probably the actors are not, like, get more comfortable in the roles, or there's just more to do. Because at least for me, I would say this episode has the least like stereotypical cartoonish moments or situations, and I think that's sort of where actors can have a more chance to shine, like, you know in terms of the actual acting versus. I don't want to like sound like I'm bagging on the first one. The first episode was a fun episode, but I think the first episode like had sort of a lot of some elements that were Saturday morning cartoonish, and as
Yeah.
second and third episode, like they still have their humorous moments that some may consider as cartoony, but the humor in episode 2 and 3 are humor that I've seen in regular MCU material, so it's not like too outside of the MCU aesthetic.
Sure.
Yeah. So something I really love about the episode, just I really do like kind of that combination of take basically a Nick Fury story that basically kind of sums up a lot that combines a lot of our MCU movies, Nick Fury's big week, and then you add like kind of this murder mystery, what if with twists and turns all over the place, which I thought was really really interesting. Again, plays into that dramatic what if flair of like, we had big dramatic moment. We killed the Avengers before they were even assembled. And the mystery itself, it kept you guessing. I felt my initial suspect was Loki, but then he showed up in the episodes like, no, it can't be Loki. He's showing up now.
Yeah, I figured out who it was when when we got into the fight with Black Widow, but I mean at that point I think it was pretty spelled out.
Well, I mean, I got it when we had the thing with the Hulk, though, Tiki. I think that pretty much spelled it out.
Yeah, I thought it was the Winter Soldier like the whole time, that was involved. But I feel like my theory, didn't hold up. It might have held up for, say, the Hulk part, and maybe the Thor part.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I had no idea what was going on with the Hulk. I really it was hard for me to even wrap my head
the Hulk's
around
death
that.
clinched it for me that it was Ant-Man, but then it made me think it was Wasp, and then it could never be Scott Lang. He was never this murdery. He's never. And I figured, well, I mean, Pym, I suspected Pym, but then again, is the question: is it Hope, or did Janet not die in this universe? I kept me guessing until like the big reveal, which it does track. Hank Pym distrusts Shield. We've established that in the regular Ant-Man movies from the top of that movie. We did the young Michael Douglas. He's punching the some of our Shield heads.
Right.
Yeah, and again, as Tom P says earlier, says, what if Hank might be based on the abusive husband counterpart from the comics? And yeah, it's just like Hank getting really really hung up and really really violent and overstressed at times, and it manifests itself. At least I forget if that was purely in the Ultimate Comics or if we wrote in the main line. Then we tried to brush it over because it was very infamous. But yeah, I really love the fact that we did the unthinkable. We can do an animation. We put Michael Douglas in the suit. We put him in the
yeah, exactly.
Put him in the Ant-Man suit. In this case, the Yellow Jacket suit.
I kind of geeked out seeing like Ant-Man in small form getting punched by Nick Fury.
That was awesome.
That is a geek out moment right there, man. That to me is like almost as cool as like the Giant Man reveal.
Also, the animation quality for the fight, I have to say, the Black Widow when she's escaping out of the cargo hold and the fight at the end with Nick Fury and Yellow Jacket. That's why not the most. I don't even think choreography is over. It's the most animated sequences so far.
I agree. I think the shadow work in particular was impressive this episode.
Of course, I like that we're taking cues from all over the MCU, just in terms of some of our action here. Like, it's Black Widow in a confined space. It's kind of an homage both to the elevator scene in Winter Soldier, but also like when she was in the little tank thing in Civil War at the top of that, when she took out those guys and basically avoided a grenade blast. It's a little bit of both.
Also, that tool. See, did you guys have any idea what it was that Nick Fury gave to Natasha before she went into the
Yeah,
car?
he gave her the syringe so she can have it tested. The thing that the lithium thing, because whatever they're figuring is something
Oh,
got in there to. They haven't tested it yet.
oh, that makes a lot of sense. I had the mindset that like he somehow gave her. You know how Nick Fury, when like he was trying to evade the Winter Soldier, he like has like the tool that like cuts a hole
Yeah,
and then gets out in the sewers.
yeah,
Like he gave her that.
yeah. Which, by the way, if I recall, is even if Feige wants to bury it, that was from Agents of Shield. The little device they tied those two in together because those movies.
You know what? Lola has a parking space in Avengers Campus, so as far as I'm concerned, at least the Coulson part of Agents of Shield is canon.
At the very least, the first season is because that literally ties into Winter Soldier. How can you deny that?
Right,
It's literally,
yeah.
the whole thing is like what's happening. The whole Shield becoming Hydra is the whole first season of Shield. I can't even. Anyway, all right. So but yeah, it was also kind of a nod to the little Fury gives him gives Steve Rogers the little flash drive, so he can find Zola and everything. So again, it's a little nod to again sneaking it to her while she's kind of under. Basically, remember she's being shipped to Pierce, exactly like what happened to Steve Rogers in Winter Soldier. Speaking of Winter Soldier, this is the thing. No, I don't think anyone's noticed yet, or at least very few have noticed. There is a really awesome implied thing about how Hope died. So
that's Ukraine.
yeah, well, I thought it was like Odessa or something, wasn't it? She was.
It's I mean Odessa is like is a city in Ukraine.
Oh right, sorry, yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
When I heard Odessa, I thought it meant like Texas, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. What's really interesting is just the way the episode struck. I mean, I'm sorry if something you guys mentioned before I came in, like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing.
No, we did mention that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think someone as well, I was watching sort of the reviews and reactions to this episode, and someone really brought up an interesting point about like how this episode is not like exactly like this movie, but is taking cues from David Fincher's Seven. There's sort of a ticking time clock, and
Sure.
And these just murders are happening, and
Someone literally asked what's in the box as well.
That too.
Yep. For sure. John Kelling in the comments says, yes, exactly. Bucky killed Hope. So when basically in Winter Soldier, Black Widow encountered the Ghost, which essentially was the Winter Soldier shot through her to kill a target during that Odessa mission in the Ukraine, where in this case, Hope went on that mission instead, and she got killed by the Winter Soldier, which basically sent Hank into the spiral. So that's what happened.
Do you think she had her Wasp, powers / technology when
I think so. Because I think it's why she was put on, because she came from the legacy of Hank and his wife. I assume like that origin plays out pretty much the same, where she probably disappears. I'm guessing, and then she basically I don't know, some variation of that maybe.
I kind of have some question about that, because what was interesting was when Black Widow opens up the files in that library in Virginia. The picture of Janet is the picture of her, how she looks in Ant-Man the Wasp, which doesn't make sense to me, because it's if the origin place is the same, then it should be just a photo of how she looks in the late 80s.
Well, do you recall how dark the hair was? Because it was long in that
flashback. It was specifically gray. Michelle Pfeiffer, her look in the contemporary 2018 MCU.
Right. Well, I can't really spit. Maybe that might have just been maybe something on the animators. We want to make sure people recognize who it is when we didn't. I don't know. I have to rewatch it to really gauge it. But you're probably right. Let's see. Anyway, yes. So let's briefly talk about the ways we killed the Avengers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised we're bearing the lead on it, but
someone wanted to jump to Hank Pym, so.
Well, the Hulk thing, man.
Yes, I'm so seriously the Incredible Hulk.
First of all, it's really, really cool and gratifying to see Mark Ruffalo, in that timeline with Betty Ross.
Yeah, now mind you, again, this is like a thing where we're in what if we can change the rules a little bit here, where he's still the cocky kind of like he's a Hulk who's a little more confident, less than just kind of
I swear to God,
running.
I want them to just do a remake of the Incredible Hulk with Ruffalo.
Hmm.
Like all the Hulk stuff can just be the same. Just swap out all the Edward Norton scenes with Ruffalo.
Well, he wasn't bad in the movie though.
Come
on, he
It
wasn't
wasn't
bad.
great.
I mean, I would be more in favor of remake of Iron Man 1 with Don Cheadle as Rhodey.
Ooh, that's
Well,
an interesting
that would be
proposition as well.
that
Because the
would
thing
be-
is, like, not that turns out as a bad actor, but like Don Cheadle has a more of a commanding presence
Sure.
as an actor. And I
Cheadle
feel,
would be a more satisfying swap.
yeah,
All right, fair enough.
but
I just think the Incredible Hulk continues to just be the outlier of the MCU that I literally don't care about. But
Anyway, so but yes, so basically we enlarge, we threw one of the size discs at the Hulk's heart, which already is like, ugh. And then when we did that, we blew him up like a bomb. We had like turned to a little mushroom cloud, which is so. Oh god, because he's green, you can get away with it. If it was red, they never would have been able to get away with it.
well, no, well, specifically, it didn't erupt in like green blood. It was like green mist.
Yeah, just like it's more like the outer skin before it's anything. Yeah, it just
Yeah,
looks
no.
like a gray smoke bomb or something, like a
Yeah.
green smoke bomb or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, that would be so much. Like, I just imagine the animators having so much fun, like creating, like just drawing that out.
Totally.
It's still just sick and wrong, right? It's just like that moment still haunts me from the episode, just enlarging the Hulk like that, and just having him like, because the idea, like he's, it's not just like the heart's enlarging, because again, this production of like the gamma irradiated blood, which is basically pumping him up, is just oh god, it's like popped him like a pimple. It's oh god.
You know what would have been a fun? You know how like the second episode had like a big twist, with Ego coming to Peter, and
Yeah.
it would have been hilarious. It would have been hilarious or scary if like, because of the explosion or whatever, either General Ross or Betty like becomes a gamma irradiated monster. Like,
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, we could have gotten Red Hulk.
or Red She-Hulk.
Wait, is she the Red She-Hulk? I don't know. I didn't follow. Is she in the comics?
Betty Ross was the Red She-Hulk, and then she became this like Red She-Hulk harpy thing in
Right.
Hulk stuff. So yeah, or like really, or just no. Like, considering there was a lot of soldiers nearby, imagine like an army of like Hulk soldiers.
Yep. I would say John Kelling says Hulk have heartburn before, but this is ridiculous. Yep, emerald showers, indeed. Yeah, I do love. I love that we had kind of this great thing. We had this Archie moment with Bruce Banner, where both the loves of his life in the MCU just kind of had a scene together. With Betty Ross and Natasha Romanoff just in a scene there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was kind of like it was nice to kind of see that connective tissue.
Which, by the way, one of my favorite pulls, I mean, the reason I really like that, too, is one of my favorite pulls from, I forget if it was specifically Nick Fury's Big Week or, like, one of the other tie-in things, like Blackwood had, like, a version of, like, Nick Fury's Big Week, too, where basically she was tasked with, she was secretly in the Incredible Hulk tracking Bruce Banner on the college campus. So
I think she was the one that detained the leader. Like,
that was her whole, like, she was assigned to watch the leader during that stuff, too, so that was kind of her. So that's what I'm saying. I love that we kind of like homaged a little bit of that too, which I mean that's really cool. Which also retroactively helped out the whole like Age of Ultron relationship that they've been linked together for a while now. We just didn't know it.
It was neat to have like a subtle like dialogue reference to the first Avengers movie, where like once Bruce gets shot in the What If episode, I'll make sure you're okay. I'll put my life on it. Just like a flashback to like when she just says that line and trying to prevent Bruce from like hulking out the helicarrier.
Yep, didn't go well there, but here it went even worse technically. So yeah, and also John Kelling says, "Where was Blonsky?" Well, he's just sitting on the side. Oh man, I didn't get to do anything. I got this bum super soldier serum for nothing. I didn't get to fight him.
yeah, right.
Ooh, and that, like, honestly, there was like a follow up to this episode. Like, have Emil Blonsky join the backup Avengers.
Yeah, this backup Avengers really. For a moment, I thought Loki was going to join him, but then the logical thing ever, no, he's not going to join him. He's going to take.
I love that. I love how this is like easily like the worst Twilight Zone twist yet.
Yeah, the downer ending was a really aspired choice that I'm sure did not rub everyone the right way, but I thought it. I thought it was a really good call. Also, just on the whole, I really love how Loki was implemented this episode. The idea that if we kill Thor, which, by the way, I'm convinced was the impetus for the episode. Because again, every time you watch Thor, you're thinking, what if Hawkeye did take that shot? And we actually did it. Where, well, not by choice, but that the shot was taken by Hawkeye, and Thor was killed.
I'm surprised this episode didn't go farther, and like had Nick Fury been killed off by Loki.
Yeah, well, if we do that, then we have no hope at all. If we kill Fury.
I feel like Nick Fury is the one Avenger that will never die.
I mean, we tried to kill him in Winter Soldier, didn't it?
We've tried to kill him a couple times.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I love the after factor. Well, no one stopped Loki. He rose to power. I mean, assumedly he's just going to take over the Asgardian throne like he's pretty much poised to do at this juncture. It's going. Things are coming out in Millhouse for Loki right now. I mean, his brother's dead. And I think it's more an ego thing than like he's actually hurt by it. It's kind of unclear like how much he's actually bothered by the death of his brother.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it would be such an interesting. Not like if this was a two-parter. Like the second part episode would be just like the Avengers going up against not only just Loki, but it's just Hydra sites just to say fuck it, just like open up and go to war against Loki and Asgard. Like that would be interesting.
Yeah, like a different version of the Avengers army, that's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If Thor doesn't have his face on Loki never meets Thanos. So, none of that happens. So this would basically be his version of it. Just be him probably winning over the Asgardian army somehow and then using them as the occupying force and et cetera, et cetera, So and I just love that Nick Fury negotiates that 24 hours, It's like in the fact that he's dealing with Loki like he did in the Avengers, and that was cool. And he drives up to the destroyer armor. Fury's got chutzpah. The man does. He drives to the destroyer, not deterred in the least.
You got a name, soldier?
Yeah. Okay, then. Let's see. Again, we already kind of mentioned the lithium went wrong with Tony Stark. Did that? Hawkeye's.
I love just Hawkeye, just his hand slipping. It's such a realistic mistake.
But I love that. I don't make that mistake. Just so haunted by him. I like that we're mirroring.
Yeah, for sure.
We put him in the dramatic shot from Thor when Thor was detained. I like that we're mirroring our shots here. Nice little subtle choices. I dug them. Okay, let's see. Trying to think if there's something. Also, I mean, Hank Pym had some really great lines amidst that whole, amidst the fight with Fury. Like, you're pretty spry for a guy with a corner office.
I like how that's the thing. I like how Michael Douglas, like, he was pretty damn evil, but he still kind of had like a twisted sense of humor about him too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He just goes crazy when he's Yellow Jacket. I think we represented that really well. And again, I feel for him though. But you see, like when that helmet comes off, the man is like it's not. Just
I love that face reveal. Yeah, it is like okay, that is not the Hank Pym that we know.
Imagine if in Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, evil like Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket from this episode like makes a live action debut.
Oh, that would be cool. That would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's read some comments here before we.
Yeah, by all means, any that you want to point out, just let me know.
Okay, let's see. Okay, that guy makes the point. This episode answered the biggest question of the MCU back from Endgame.
Have you guys seen this meme?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's been brought up in all sorts of
interviews. I do think it's funny that this meme kind of started circulating, and then the very next week we get a what if specifically about Ant-Man's ability to just go in and very, very, like stealthily kill people.
Yeah, well, no, two things. So one, this meme's been around since Endgame. Like every interview, Paul Rudd kept getting asked about this meme. And secondly, though, I mean, that's the cool thing about the Yellow Jacket callback is that was like Yellow Jacket was poised to be kind of this ultimate assassin, like for a military weapon. That basically you have soldiers in these Yellow Jacket suits that we can mass produce, and they would be miniature killers all around the globe. And I think what's really cool too is that a lot of people made this comparison. It's very apt. This episode does have some vibes of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, in which when he killed a lot of the guys like Luke Cage and I believe the Hulk. I don't know if he killed the Hulk the same way either, but when he killed Luke Cage, he's pin particles. That's how the only way you can kill Luke Cage.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. John Kelling says the event. Here's a lineup of the Avengers based on our ending, which I do like the hopeful note we hit in the end, where we find Captain America, who was in ice all this time, so that makes sense. Captain Marvel, which he had the pager for, which that's really good. We do have Blonsky on the rebound. He's looking for something to do, and we do have a War Machine. I mean, the armor is there, and why not Coulson?
Coulson would just be funny as just like I don't know, what would you give Coulson though? Like, would he be in like a backup Iron Man suit?
Well, no, he would have the Destroyer thing, but we need the Destroyer first, which in this what if would be tricky. We don't necessarily have we can't.
For this episode, no, for this universe, they go with they make the fan theory of like, remember how when Coulson died in Avengers, there was a fan theory that he would come back as like Vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honeybee says, in hindsight, we should have immediately figured out it was him when we found out there was a tiny weapon and all tiny things are Ant-Man. Yeah, totally.
But seriously, I mean, I really like how we depicted all that too. Like, the Ant-Man mystery is coming to the fold, and as you said, Tiki, that Black Widow fight. I mean, it's kind of a cool tip-off. Like, yeah, it harkens back to when Ant-Man fought her briefly in the airport scene.
See, but also, like, considering our knowledge of like Shield and like Hydra secretly running things, it's very believable to also think that like Hydra might have just like brainwashed like Black Widow and or Hawkeye to like kill off the Avengers. And just have that be sort of the prevailing notion until like near the end with the reveal of Hank.
Also, as we've very much learned from the Loki show and plus just in general with the character, you can never, for a moment we had like a glorious team up between Fury and Loki. It was actually pretty cool. It's like, yeah, Loki, two of these guys working together. And then of course Loki turns on him instantly. I want to extend my stay. How long?
I like this idea, although I'm not. Okay, so remind me, at this point, had Jane Foster had interacted with Thor.
Yeah, they interacted. They kind of parted ways. If I'm right, they had that bit with they had the. I'm sorry, take you on.
No, I was not. Go ahead. I was just asking. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. If I recall, this is before Selvig gets him out of Dodge with the hammer thing. Had he not died. And I believe Selvig then asked him to not see Jane again. So he had definitely seen Jane before, and they separated because they were looking for the base. Like, where's the hammer being kept? She directs him there, kisses the hand, making the goo eyes as they do, and then basically they split, and he kind of went to infiltrate the place. And then
so I do wonder, like, yeah, I could see Jane Foster Thor. I could possibly see that. Also Gamora, maybe.
Well, I honestly I could see Sif or one of the Warriors 3 or all four of them join the Avengers. Just to rebel against Loki if he's going too far and like ruling over Midgard.
Yeah. Honestly, an idea that pops to mind if you want to talk about like what a part 2 status, like kind of a very different version of the Avengers would be. I love that we would still have, we have both of our captains on team. Which, by the way, when we revealed Captain Marvel, she did her like her comic pose, like she's doing like the little arm, like the Rosie the Riveter arm, which is nice. I love that was Fury's contingency, by the way, that if he couldn't deliver the results and he had to deal with Loki, he was just going to call Captain Marvel to help him out. I love he was contemplating it. But yeah, Coulson, what if we gave Coulson the Yellow Jacket? What if we made Coulson Ant-Man? Or like Yellow Jacket, technically, but a good Yellow Jacket.
I don't know.
I'm saying the technology would have been
the mental will to just not completely freak out at the transformations.
Well, Scott Lang did it.
True. That's true.
He's a well-rounded guy.
I think Coulson would be, a little bit more cool under pressure, considering he's been a secret agent for most of his life. Like, I think he could handle,
Yeah,
some like change in dimension.
I think so.
That guy points out that there's something to be said about Shield having coffins made for them in the first place. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how. I don't know if it's like an engraving or what they put on the top. I don't know if it's like a blanket or what for the symbols. So I don't know how much of that's like it's
I don't think it was a
completely.
blanket. I
The
think it was
graphic design
engraving.
was done by the same guy who did the graphic design in Batman v Superman for the Justice League.
yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. It still feels like time has passed and they made that. I don't think they had that ready.
All right. Fair enough.
I don't think Fear thought that far ahead.
John Kelling says Colonel Fury and his howling Avengers.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Let me think. I think we're. I just one last thing with the anime thing is I love that we took if in my opinion the MCU's most likable franchise, or at least the most likable character with the franchise, and we made him so menacing and so lethal.
Yeah, totally.
Just love that. So I really enjoy that. Let me take a little scan of the comments here. I think we'll just wrap it up.
What's kind of cool is that like this is probably it's just with What If you can have interactions with characters that I have never interacted in live action before. And the last episode it was Yondu and T'Challa, and then this episode it's like Hank Pym and Samuel Jackson that I don't believe have had actual scenes together. Like they were in the funeral scene for Endgame, but like having actual dialogue is just like that's sort of a neat thing for What If. It's just seeing different character interactions that you haven't seen before in live action.
Let's see. That guy earlier said, and he was punched by Loki, technically, and just the idea of Loki, having Sam Jackson hamming it up, it was like just like mocking Yellow Jack and everything because he's Loki, but you're playing the role of Nick Fury. That was a lot of fun too. It's kind of a nice little kind of wolf in sheep's clothing reveal there. Yeah, I think we're about good. There's something addressed to you, Tiki. I don't know if you want to share that or not.
Do you want to share your Express VPN? Well, like I said, Honeybee, they know where to find me. I'd be happy to make the big bucks shilling for Express VPN. By all means, they know where to find me. Just send me an email. So, anyways,
earlier John Kelling mentioned this, and he's kind of bringing it up again here. So Age of I don't know if John's getting this from a source of science. It sounded like there might be some Age of Ultron stuff for the second half of the second season.
huh.
I remember there was some talk of I forget if James Spader or at least Ultron is confirmed for either this season or just the show in general. I don't know where we stand on that. So maybe I think that's where he's getting that from. But let's see. No Scott Lang Ant-Man this week. Paul Rudd is slated to appear. So we have some Ant-Man players who are going to come back. So we're going to see some more Ant-Man down the line somewhere.
I think next week's episode is the Party Thor episode, or it's either the Party Thor episode or the Doctor Strange.
I'm hearing it's Doctor Strange, but then originally I heard it was Spider-Man, so I have no idea at this point.
For synergy reasons, it makes sense if it was Doctor Strange. Just
I'm
because
convinced
people are talking about him.
But then again, Spider-Man.
Yeah, right. That's true too.
Yep.
Although honestly, I feel like Doctor Strange came off better than Spider-Man in that trailer. Just saying.
Well, it was like, fine, given the big scene, yeah, I guess, yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm still not a fan of Ned, and Aunt May.
Right.
I'm just gonna fuck everything up because I'm Peter Parker.
You know what brought it back though?
What?
Hello, Peter.
But we don't even know if he's talking to Tom Holland, anyways.
Even so, pretty cool though.
All right. So, guys, I think I'm gonna call it.
All right, let's thank the folks.
Yeah. So, big thanks to John Kelling, that guy, Honeybee, Atomic Beast. Pretty sure I got everyone. Yeah, I think that's it. Y'all rock. You guys were really, really active in the comments. Sorry we didn't get a chance to shout everyone out. But it was a really, really engaging conversation all the way around. So I appreciate all the engagement for sure.
Praise Kelling.
Praise John Kelling. John Kelling. Praise him. Praise him. All right.
Hail Kelling.
I'm a pretty easy man for subscribers to get me to do what they want, honestly. So
John was born on a Tuesday, and then he went on to do great wonders upon this little mud ball we call a planet. Anyway,
okay then. All right. So that'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mono e mono, just plus, and us.
well, there was an idea.
Scott.